Hey everyone! Welcome to The Young and the Restless. I'm Jane, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Young and the Restless, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. In The Young and the Restless, Tracy Braden's choice to go to Nice starts a series of events that could have disastrous effects for Chancellor Winters and the Newman family, especially for Devin Hamilton, Victor Newman's longtime competitor, and Nate Hastings, his business partner. Tracy discovers three crucial pieces of evidence as she continues her research, which have the potential to completely alter Genoa City's power structure and reveal truths that some would like keep hidden. The first piece of evidence is a set of encrypted financial transactions between a known associate of Victor Newman and a shell business. These transactions, which span several months, raise concerns about whether Victor is secretly planning a hostile takeover because they appear to be a conscious attempt to influence the value of Chancellor Winters' stock. When Tracy discovers these documents while going through old emails and company documents, she discovers that the timing aligns with Chancellor Winters' market performance abruptly declining, which Devin and Nate had previously ascribed to negative publicity rather than corporate sabotage. The ramifications are profound. If Victor is really responsible, he has been covertly destroying Devin's business while pretending in public that he doesn't care about their rivalry. A secret document from a senior official at Newman Enterprises detailing a covert meeting with a Securities and Exchange Commission member is the second piece of evidence that Tracy finds. Despite its careful wording, the document raises the possibility of regulatory intervention intended to impede Chancellor Winters' most recent merger prospects. This finding raises the possibility that Victor is abusing his power to erect administrative obstacles, which would further erode Devin's standing. An old contact in Nice with connections to international banking gives Tracy access to this paper, revealing that Newman Enterprises has previously employed similar strategies to undermine rivals. If this memo is authentic, it might demonstrate that Victor is participating in business espionage, which would be a disclosure that would harm his reputation and expose him to legal consequences. A taped exchange between Victor and an unnamed person about neutralizing a significant figure at Chancellor Winters is the third and most explosive piece of evidence. Even if the wording is purposefully ambiguous, the context makes it clear that Victor is thinking about taking drastic steps to maintain his control over Devin's business. This recording is provided to Tracy by a source who requests anonymity out of concern for reprisals. Although the veracity of the audio is still up for debate, if confirmed, it might be the clearest indication yet that Victor is prepared to transgress moral and even legal limits in order to keep control over Genoa City's commercial environment. Not only may this result in a full-scale corporate conflict between Chancellor Winters and Newman Enterprises, but it could also splinter relationships among Genoa City's elite, putting families against one another in ways not seen since the Newman-Abbott feud. Tracy is faced with a moral conundrum as she considers these revelations. Should she reveal what she has seen, knowing that it could ruin lives and businesses, or should she keep quiet and let Victor's schemes run amok? Given that Jack Abbott has a complex past with Victor of his own, her involvement with him further complicates things. Jack might use the evidence to settle old scores if she gives it to him, turning the dispute from business rivalry into something far more intimate. However, she runs the risk of starting a full-scale conflict between Chancellor Winters and Newman Enterprises, which may destroy both businesses if she brings the information straight to Devin. Victor's paranoia is already rampant, but he is still oblivious that Tracy is on him. He has become more combative due to recent setbacks in his own business activities, and he might take extreme measures to silence Tracy if he learns of her research. He has a large network of allies, and Tracy knows that going too far could endanger her. Nevertheless, despite the growing risks, she is driven to continue by her sense of justice. Now, the question is whether she can gather enough hard evidence to defeat Victor before he notices her attempts and takes action to permanently stop her. The consequences of Tracy's discoveries may alter Genoa City's power dynamics in unexpected ways. The shareholders of Chancellor Winters may rebel and demand explanations from Devin and Nate if the financial shenanigans are made public. Federal investigations could result from the regulatory meddling alluded to in the memo, plunging Newman Enterprises into a crisis that even Victor might not be able to avoid. Additionally, Victor's legacy can be permanently damaged if the video is shown to be genuine and leads to criminal charges. Victor, however, is not one to surrender easily. His resources are almost endless, and there is ample evidence of his determination to strike back. Traci is aware that she is entering a conflagration as she gets ready to bring her proof back to Genoa City. If she handles the matter poorly, the people she loves, Devon, Jack, and even her own family, may end up as collateral damage. However, the alternative, letting Victor carry on with his vicious strategies unchallenged, is just as unimaginable. The future of Genoa City's most powerful dynasties could depend on Traci's next move, and the stakes have never been higher. Will she conceal the evidence out of fear of the repercussions, or will she decide to tell the truth at all costs? There is little doubt that Traci will face devastating consequences if she dares to reveal the truths that underpin Victor Newman's enterprise. With allegiances being challenged and relationships changing, the tension in Genoa City is already evident. Still in shock after the death of his grandmother Catherine Chancellor, Devon is not in the position to back down from a battle, particularly one that could jeopardize the business she helped him establish. Ever the strategist, Nate might use Traci's findings as a chance to retaliate against Victor, but his tactics might conflict with Devon's more moral stance. Jack Abbott is observing from the sidelines in the meanwhile, awaiting the outcome before determining whether to step in. He has a long history of betrayal and retaliation against Victor, and he may take advantage of any opportunity he sees, no matter the cost. Traci's trip to Nice was intended to be a straightforward fact-finding assignment, but it has evolved into something far riskier. Not only does Victor face danger from the evidence she has found, but Genoa City's precarious power structure is also in jeopardy. The consequences will be severe and swift if she shares what she knows with the world. Victor's opponents will band together, his supporters will rush to defend themselves, and the business environment may change drastically in a single day. However, if she remains silent, she is involved in his plans and his manipulation can go unchallenged. As she boards her journey home, the weight of this decision weighs heavily on her, knowing that no matter what she decides, Genoa City will never be the same. Traci braces herself for what will happen once the plane lands. Although the evidence is strong, is it sufficient? Does she have the guts to utilize it even if it is? Her opponents are vicious and will not think twice about destroying anyone who is in their way. Regardless of how unpleasant the truth may be, Traci has never been one to back down from it. Traci Brayden might be the one to light the fuse in the impending struggle for control of Genoa City's destiny. Who will survive the explosion is the only question left. Drama, treachery, and startling revelations abound in the Young and the Restless universe. Traci Abbott, a heroine renowned for her compassion and wisdom, enters a high-stakes scenario that has the potential to completely alter Kane Ashby's life in one of the most captivating storylines now playing out. Traci makes the audacious decision to go to Nice, France, where she finds 3 crucial pieces of evidence that could jeopardize Kane's future and upend Genoa City. For Traci, who has frequently served as a calming influence within the Abbott family, this plot point represents a major turning point. She must choose between revealing a terrible secret and protecting her loved ones when confronted with the truth. Kane, who has been involved in a number of scandals, is currently at the center of one that has the potential to ruin his reputation and relationships. This 5,000-word introduction will cover the following topics. What drives Traci to leave Genoa City and what does she hope to discover on her unexpected journey to Nice? A summary of the startling facts that Traci unearths and how they implicate Kane is provided in the 3 explosive evidence. The repercussions for Kane, how these disclosures might cause him to run afoul of the law, experience marital discord, or possibly leave Genoa City. The effect on important relationships, how Traci's revelations will affect Lily, the Abbotts, and other significant players. Spoilers and predictions, how will this plot develop for Kane, Traci, and the other members of the YNR cast? We'll examine the ramifications of Traci's investigation, the secrets Kane has been keeping, and the possible revelations that might shake the Young and the Restless in the upcoming weeks as we examine these components. 1. Tracy's surprising path to charm. Tracy Abbott has consistently provided support and direction throughout difficult times, acting as the family's sane voice. Recent occurrences, meanwhile, have forced her into unfamiliar ground. Driven by a mixture of skepticism and loyalty, Tracy decides to take matters into her own hands as rumors about Kane's past start to circulate again. Where was she going? A location connected to Kane's enigmatic past is Nice, France. Why does Tracy look into Kane? Unexplained financial transactions. Although the Abbott family's economic activities have long been investigated, recent inconsistencies raise the possibility that Kane was involved in illegal activity. Anonymous tips. Tracy is compelled to look more after receiving cryptic notes that allude to Kane's dishonesty. Lily's increasing mistrust. Despite having supported Kane during previous scandals, Lily's current misgivings cause Tracy to wonder if Kane is really who he says he is. Her mission's risks. It's not a simple vacation. Going to Nice is a risky gamble. Kane might take extreme action to silence Tracy if he finds out about her investigation. Furthermore, her intervention could not be welcomed by the Abbott family, particularly if it sparks another public controversy. Although Tracy Abbott had never thought she would return to Nice in such difficult circumstances, she felt compelled to go, not for herself, but for the truth. As she got out of the car, her pulse thumping with determination, she heard the French Riviera's cobblestone alleys whispering secrets. She held tight to her battered leather satchel, which had formerly held her sister's ashes as well as manuscripts and letters. It now contained something far more explosive, 3 pieces of devastating evidence that might change the course of Genoa City's darkest plot in years, in addition to destroying Kane Ashby's painstakingly constructed lie. Tracy had had enough of being quiet. She felt the burden of years bearing down on her as she made her way through the old archways toward the villa where it all began, the affair, the secrets, Damien's abrupt absence. She wouldn't dare come, Kane thought. He had misjudged her. Seeing the calm Abbott who served as peacekeeper, the emotional sister, and the nice, scholarly Tracy, everyone always did. But this time, Tracy would not be disregarded since she had discovered facts that no one else wanted to see. Sunlight streamed through the transparent drapes inside the villa, creating an illusion of tranquility. Tracy, however, was not duped. A voice recording she discovered in a backup file preserved by her late friend Jeffrey, an elderly tech archivist who had formerly worked for Newman Media, was the first piece of evidence she held, and it had already completely rocked her. She only discovered the distorted, murky audio tape while looking through Victor Newman's book notes. It had been hidden behind dozens of encryption layers. A clear, irate, and cunning Kane's voice was heard in the middle of a conversation with someone called Lyle, demanding that a certain testimony regarding Damien never sees daylight. The call ended with a clear threat, and a series of wire transfers to a shadow firm in Marseille ensued. Even while that voice recording was damning, it simply made Kane wonder more. Who was Lyle and why was he so determined to keep him quiet? Tracy was aware that the only way she could bring the truth to Kane's attention was to present him with indisputable evidence. Even more startling was the second piece of evidence. She received it from an unlikely person, Amanda Sinclair. Behind the scenes, the attorney had been quietly looking into Carter's abrupt disappearance and the fire that destroyed a significant piece of property connected to Damien's previous holdings. Amanda left a USB when she visited Tracy in New York, with the enigmatic remark, "You'll know when to use it." Tracy was too preoccupied with her writing commitments and family responsibilities to open it for weeks, but when she did, the video broke everything. A time-stamped, blurry security video from 6 months prior showed Kane and Damien, who was still very much alive at the time, fighting violently inside a storage facility outside of Nice. Kane was seen pushing Damien while shouting something about control and treachery in the video. Even though Damien's mouth was bleeding, he repeatedly pointed at Kane's chest and said, "You promised." Who was her that you struck a deal with? With shivers down her spine, Tracy watched the video again and again. Who had Kane struck the arrangement with? Sharon? Phyllis? Since Audra Charles had also become silent around the time the video was dated, Amanda felt it might have been her. In any event, this demonstrated that Damien had not passed away as everyone had claimed, and worse, it implied that Kane was involved in his disappearance. Every time Traci thought about Damien's begging face, her stomach turned. Now that she was standing in the villa where everything could have gone wrong, she was resolved to find out every single secret. The last and third piece of proof wasn't abstract or digital. It was real, heavy, and had been in the fake bottom of one of Jill Abbott's travel trunks. The old leather-bound ledger Traci had discovered while assisting Jill in organizing some storage items in Chancellor Winters appeared inconsequential until Traci saw the initials DR scribbled in the margins. Ralston, Damien. He had owned the journal. It was unclear how it entered Jill's belongings, but what was inside was even more unsettling. Notes in jumbled French and English that detailed meetings, payments for blackmail, and times that coincided with Kane's business travels and unplanned absences from Genoa City. Red ink was used to highlight one specific entry: Kane won't let go. Start with the old Marina contracts if I disappear. She was helpful. Traci couldn't get that line out of her head. She always helps him. Was it Lily who said she helped? Was Amanda there? Or someone who remains hidden? Fearful of removing the original journal from its location, Traci took pictures of the complete journal. However, the words were sufficient. Traci was certain that she had put together a puzzle that showed Kane Ashby not only lying about Damien's death but also probably planning it thanks to the journal, the video, and the voice recording. Traci was startled out of her reverie by the creaking of the villa door. She whirled, gripping her purse. In the hallway, a shadow moved, cautious but not menacing. Traci? Billy was there, looking gaunt, his jaw tight, his shirt crumpled. She let out a breath. You followed me. I did, of course, he said, taking a step forward. You vanished. You didn't tell anyone. Not Jack. Not Ashley. And Kane, he's already tense. Good, said Traci, in a tone that was colder than normal. Billy looked at the suitcase she was holding and said, he should be scared. You discovered something? She pushed past him and entered the room, saying, I found 3 things. And every single one rips a hole in Kane's tail. He has spent too much time concealing himself behind charm and partial truths. Damien did not pass away in a strange mishap. He was conscious, frightened, and attempting to flee. Kane ensured that he didn't. Billy massaged his neck. You realize that this may ruin everything if you go public. Lily's base. Chancellor Winters. Jill's legacy. What if we continue to conceal it? Traci yelled. Then, what do we become? Another family that keeps the facts to themselves and shields the guilty? Billy regarded her with a mix of fear and pride. Traci was wielding the moral compass like a sword, even though she had always been it. She started configuring her laptop by putting in the USB, the journal pictures, and then the recorder. She pressed play, allowing the room to be filled with distorted voices. Billy's face went white. And this, she added, pointing to the security camera, is definitely Damien. And that's definitely Kane. Alive. After 6 months, the journal pages surfaced, cross-referenced with Chancellor Winters' business reports and airline data, and annotated. I've been working on this for months, Traci remarked softly. Billy put up his hands in surrender and said, and if I have to, I'll take it to the media. My purpose is not to stop you. All I want is for you to be safe. He's not the only one with fire in him anymore, Traci remarked, her eyes fierce. Kane is dangerous when cornered. I want clarification. I would like to know Damien's fate. And before someone else is harmed, I want Kane to come clean. Then there was a loud knock that reverberated throughout the villa. Tracy's gaze expanded. Did you let anyone know that I was present? No, answered Billy, who was already making his way to the door. However, he froze as he opened it. Kane Ashby stood in the doorway with crazy eyes and a lot of perspiration. He gritted his teeth and continued, Tracy, we need to talk. Billy blocked the door. Kane pushed past him, saying, You're not coming in. Billy, this isn't about you. Oh, I understand just fine, Tracy remarked, coming into view. This is about something Tracy doesn't understand. I see that you misled us all. That you agreed to keep Damien silent with someone, possibly even multiple people. That you observed his suffering. That you most likely, stop. Kane shouted. You have no idea what you're talking about. Then describe the video, she yelled. Describe the audio recording. Describe the journal. He became pale. Then tell me, Tracy responded steadily, because you don't know the whole story. Now. Or I visit Victor. And you know that in order to learn the truth, he will destroy everything. A thick, electric silence descended between them. Kane glanced at Tracy, then at the sack on the table. He muttered, You have no idea what kind of people you're poking at. I made an effort to keep everyone safe. Damien, too. He wouldn't let it go, though. He believed he could betray someone who doesn't forgive betrayal. Who is it? Tracy persisted. Kane, who are you defending? Billy moved to stand next to her. If I say the name, he murmured in a shaky voice, you and I both end up in pieces. Then we begin war preparations. Kane swallowed hard. Tracy, you were always the reserved one. The pleasant one. What are you doing? Because being nice does not equate to being blind, she said. Kane turned away, his barriers collapsing, and said, and because Damien deserved better than to be erased by your fear. The fact that the truth had begun to breathe again was more important to Tracy than whether he broke down now. She wasn't going to stop until it screamed.